What's up, family? I'm back, right? I got a response from the last video, and I think they're very upset with me because they told me I should get some insurance as soon as I possibly can. They even told me how much they could give me at one time, right? If they forget, we all live and die in this motherfucker. Some of us sooner than others, but we live and die. Here's the situation, in a sense, I'm ecstatic about the news I received. I'm gonna pass along a little something else to you. Family, the 13th Amendment is a monster. Okay, it goes along with several other portions or amendments in the Constitution, in that it provides a certain amount of protection guaranteed from certain things. All right, and in this particular case, we're gonna look into this one about involuntary servitude because it's very important. The initial 13th Amendment specifically states that you cannot be subjected to slavery or involuntary servitude unless, of course, you've been duly convicted of a crime. Okay? Key portion of that, if you haven't been convicted of a crime, then you shouldn't have to be forced to pay taxes. Whereas if you are, that's called extortion, and it's contrary to the protections provided by the United States Constitution. It's illegal. All right. And since the Internal Revenue Service and the Federal Reserve are both not federal institutions but private ones, made up for the sole purpose of instituting extortion and involuntary servitude. Because remember now, the initial United States certificate, all right, entitled you to get gold, something substantial, something real that you could use, all right, something that couldn't be you could wipe your ass with and just throw away if you wanted to, all right. Now, because of course you could redeem it, get something worth something, other than that little paper shit. It was a certificate, something, a deal between you and your government, assuring you that you would be able to get this real shit over here if you had this certificate. Well, the Federal Reserve came in and they gave you a reserve note, all right, that doesn't entitle you to do shit, but have faith in an institution or a private business that literally took all of your gold and your ability to redeem anything other than that monopoly money that they've just given you. Okay? Again, involuntary servitude. All right? And we won't even talk about the shit about the Internal Revenue Service. All right? And them being able to put your ass in jail, torture you, and kill you if they have to, if you don't pay your taxes, which I'm supposed to be forced upon you. It's supposed to be something you select to do. Opt out whenever you choose to. All right? That's not the case. So what they do is that they make sure that you understand that if you don't pay, they're going to extort you. Make sure you pay. These private institutions that we're talking about. Extortion, from the good old Jews. They're masterminds at being able to extort people out of shit and make it look legal. Because that's all it is. When you look at it seriously, 99.9% of the things they tell you are lies. Their biggest job is to make you believe that bullshit. Okay? All right. Now let's get back to the 13th Amendment because it's important. Section 2 was presented or ratified in such a manner that they realized that there were people like the good old Jews out there, okay? And that they would put people in prison just for the sake of making a dollar. Slave labor again, all right? And the poor average individual in the South didn't have an education, so you could just make believe some shit and throw them in prison. Kind of like they're doing now. All right, and subjecting you to the private penal system. All right, it's just slavery. All right. Well, Section 2 said, well, that cannot exist anywhere in the United States, the territorial jurisdictions of the United States at all. It will not happen. And if it does, then you can be thrown in prison for the rest of your life, or a number of other things, including compensation for the victim. Well, here the deal. Again, we are aware that that's the situation. We know that's what's going on. We also understand that, without a shadow of a doubt, our government officials are allowing us to be extorted when they know that this shit isn't supposed to be voluntary. You're supposed to be voluntary to do this. All right. And the funny thing about it, and I found out a little later, was that most of your taxes don't even pay for anything in the United States. They support Israel, which is the top terrorist state in the world at this point. Now, the bad part about this is that if we continue to believe lies, lies would have us to believe that it's okay to be extorted. Lies would have us to believe that it's okay for our children to be screwed and for us to be able to watch it on a social media platform. Our friends also would have us to believe that because they're in a video and that this is a new form of business, that it doesn't apply to the law, that you have to make up new laws. That territorial jurisdiction shit kind of kills all that, guys. You see, you reside here. So it don't matter how you approach it. The bottom line is you break the fucking law. All right? Now, at some point, what we have to do as citizens of the United States, we have to get the real government to enforce our laws. We need protection from these criminals because it's clear they don't have any sense of reality whatsoever except for to make slaves out of all of us. That's right, white people. You're slaves also. You see, the Internal Revenue Services made sure that it did not discriminate who they extort out of money. When you look at the tax codes, for real, you can only be taxed if you are outside of the United States. And that's basically for another type of protection. But people that reside within the United States, territorial jurisdiction, it does not cover them at all. Imagine that shit. I just wanted to pass those things along to your family. And I'm always encouraged to do the right thing when I get threats. Love you, family. Have a great weekend.